Should I cut first or should I bulk first? That's one of the most common questions that I get on a daily basis. Is it best to, bulk up first and then cut the fat, or is it best to cut the fat first and then bulk up? So the purpose of this video is to help you get a better understanding on what the best choice is for you in your personal situation. Let's get to it. First up, let's go ahead and talk about bulking. The main goal of a bulk is to be able to build as much muscle and strength as possible. It's most ideal for those who are scrawny, have smaller muscles, skinny fat, those who are relatively already lean, anywhere from 15% body fat and leaner, those who just really don't care about being shredded. They just want to get as strong and big as possible. So you need to decide, do you want to do a dirty bulk or a clean bulk? I'm sure you've probably heard of both of them. See, the thing is, when you're bulking, you need to be in a calorie surplus so you can pack on size and strength, and it's also inevitable that you're going to pack on fat as you start to get these strength and muscle gains. So the thing is, when it comes to a dirty bulk, that's just like a no holds bar. You just eat whatever you want, you go lift heavy iron, but the thing is, you're going to put on fat much more rapidly. Those people are like, I don't care, I just want to get strong and big, I'll cut the fat later. But then something that I like to do is more of a calculated approach. I'm in a surplus, I don't move too fast, I'm making sure I track my calories and my macros, and then I eat more cleaner, wholesome foods. That way I can keep the fat gains as minimal as possible while I make these strength and muscle gains. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of a bulk. First, we'll start with the pros, and that's just obviously you look bigger and better in your clothes, you get to eat more, you get stronger in the gym, and it's just more of a fun and enjoyable process. And the number one con that I know about bulking is that it's inevitable that you're gonna pack on some fat, and you're gonna have to worry about stripping that fat off at a different point when you get serious about taking your physique to another level. All right, now let's go ahead and move into cutting. What's the primary goal of a cut? The primary goal of a cut is to decrease your body fat percentage while maintaining as much lean muscle as you possibly can while you're in that calorie deficit. Who is it most ideal for? Those who are over 15 to 20% body fat should consider doing a cut and focusing on that first. Strip off that body fat, and then you can either do a couple things. You can either enjoy your nice new lean look for a little while, or you can go ahead and do a reverse diet. You can start to do a lean bulk or a dirty bulk. You go the direction that you feel is best for you. So for the pros of a cut, obviously when you cut down, you get leaner, you're gonna start to look amazing, at least with your clothes off. You're gonna feel really proud of yourself. Another thing is, if you're a newbie or a beginner to weight training, you have the potential to actually put on some muscle, because usually when you're in a cut, you usually have to just maintain it, and you might even lose a little bit. But people that are new to the gym, or beginners, or obese even, they have a high chance of actually putting on muscle during a cut. And then lastly, you just have more of a sense of awareness of where you wanna go. So once you trim down, you can pull the trigger and say, hey, do I want to stay here? Or hey, I'm good here, I'm gonna start hiking back up so I can start putting some size and strength on. Now for the cons of a cut, obviously you're gonna look amazing with your clothes off, with your shirt off, but when you're wearing clothes, it's just typical that you're gonna feel small, you're gonna look small in your clothes, and that can be kind of uncomfortable or be a shot to your ego as a man. And another thing is, if you gain any strength, it's not gonna be anything impressive, but most likely you're just gonna maintain your strength levels, and you might even decrease. So those are the cons of doing a cut. So there is a third option, but before we get into that third option, I do want to let you know it's best to stick to one goal at a time. So if you're going to cut, commit to a cut. If you're going to bulk, commit to a bulk, and then go ahead and switch to the other one a little bit later. Because remember, there's a famous saying, the person who chases two rabbits will always catch none. Think about two little bunnies going, like, it's just hard. But there is a third solution, which is called body recomposition. That's what I teach with all my clients, is what we do to transform their bodies. And that's essentially what people think is impossible, is building muscle and losing fat at the same time. Is it possible? Absolutely. But there's a couple types of bodies that are the best candidates for body recomposition. Those who are obese, those who are new to the gym, those who are de-trainees, meaning they were once athletes, are always in the gym, and then they took a whole bunch of time off, and then coming back through muscle memory, great things happen. And then lastly, there's just steroid users. So the thing about body recomposition, where people are thinking like, oh, it's impossible, you can't do that, it's just, it requires paying attention to a lot of detail. For example, you gotta have the right amount of calories. You need to know your calories, you need to figure out your macronutrient split, your protein, carbs, and fats. You gotta be on a higher protein diet, even higher than normal. You have to be tracking your weights in the gym. You gotta track your weight on the scale, do weekly averages. You gotta track your measurements. You gotta track your progress photos and see how they're looking, because it's a slower process. It requires paying attention to a lot of detail, where most people, they just rather be in a calorie deficit, lift weights, and see what happens. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros and cons of body recomposition. The pros, for example, is you're getting stronger and leaner at the same time. You're gonna have to take a little longer of a road to get there, but it makes it more enjoyable because you're in a slighter calorie deficit, which makes it much more sustainable for lifestyle. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get into the cons of body recomposition process. The number one thing I can tell you about is you're gonna have to eat a lot more protein than you normally would. It can get really tough to eat that much protein in a day for a long duration of time. The next thing is you're gonna have to track everything and really pay attention to detail. And then lastly is it's just gonna take longer because you don't wanna risk losing muscle while you're decreasing the body fat. So you definitely wanna take a longer approach to this so that you can have the most optimal results possible. All right, so I hope these tips were very valuable to you and it helps you make a decision whether you wanna bulk or cut. But if you want to do that third option, you want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, I just want to let you know that's exactly what I do as a profession. I've helped hundreds of men do it. So if you're someone who's stuck in your fitness journey, maybe you have no clue what you're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be eating, what you're supposed to be doing for workouts, and you just want all the guesswork taken out for you and you want someone to keep you accountable, I want you to go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook and shoot me the keyword ready, and let's have a conversation on where you're at, where you want to go, and how I can slide in and help you do just that. Until the next video, I'll talk to you soon, yo.